So I'm sure you've probably heard about the Diddy thing and 50 Cent. I was in Miami 3 weeks ago, and I bought a magazine. I was reading this. I bought a magazine for the first time in probably, I don't know, maybe it's been a decade. I've liked 50 Cent for like 25 years. But like being a fan of his music beside, he's an interesting dude. And today what I want to riff on is, this whole thing between the two of them. And why there might be a bit more than meets the eye. I haven't finished the whole series with Diddy yet, but it's fucked up. Like, even if you haven't seen any of it, you've maybe seen the video of him punching, kicking his girlfriend, what's her name, Cassidy. And if you get into this stuff, it's in the documentary, some of it's in the article. Diddy was, I suspect, I don't think they got into that, sexually abused. But he was definitely, it's public that he was physically abused, that he'd get beaten by his mom so hard that the neighbors would hear this little kid screaming. Like these, what do they call it, blood-curdling screams or whatever. It doesn't make what he did right in any way, but it gives you a lens to start to understand him. And his dad, this drug dealer, womanizer, died at a young age. So like that's the picture of what masculinity is, for better or worse, for any of us, whether we like it or not. My dad, businessman, but also drugs, alcohol, cheating. So that was my reference of like, that's what it is to be a man. And it even gets into the later violence of him publicly hitting his mother. I think when he was in his 20s, like someone seeing him and his mom with bruises. So there's a lot of pain and trauma here. Now, a lot of people talk, 50 Cent and him have this beef. This is my personal lens. I think 50 Cent is way smarter than people give him credit for. I think he plays the role of a troll online, stirring shit up. I've actually, as much as I've liked his music, I followed him in years past on Instagram and then unfollowed him. I'm like, man, this guy's just a troll. I like him, but what the heck? He talks about something in here I thought was really fascinating. And also, before we get into that, to get into identity. Who is 50 Cent if you think about it, right? His identity, he's a business mogul at this point, but his identity, his image, said differently, he's a gangster rapper. He's the dude that blew up in 2001, 2000? One of the biggest albums in the last few decades. Shot 9 times, sold drugs, all this different stuff, known for wearing the bulletproof vests. So in order to protect his brand, if you look at it that way, he's gonna be consistent with his image or his identity of this dude. He's not gonna be someone talking about, brother, the divine masculine honors you and this is my contribution, where it goes too fluttery, too spiritual, too talking to Tinkerbell kind of a thing. But what's cool about him and reading in this, he's saying, and I wanted to pull up the thing. I think I circled it. I actually don't know where it is, unless it's right here. He talks about having a responsibility. To me, what he's saying, if you're reading between the lines, is there's people know that there's a dude doing bad shit. And I think going back to the intuitive piece, I think why 50 Cent didn't hang around Diddy, Eminem publicly hates him or dislikes him, is he knew something was really off. Could be intuitively, or you could just hear a bunch of weird ass sex party stories. But as a man to go, wow, this is hurting people. There's victims of this. And also as a businessman, you can go, this is going to make a lot of money. This is going to give me more attention. Because he is kind of like in his marketing strategy, he's kind of how I see Trump, how I see Andrew Tate. Here's what he says. What do you say to the folks who think you're going hard on Combs, on Diddy, because you troll him on social media? He says, I do things different on social media than I do in real life. If they watch the series, they'll understand it's done tastefully and that it's the best version of a docuseries you'll see. Social media is entertainment. And if you're an entertainer, the idea is to provoke emotions. Andrew Tate and Trump, brilliant at that. Whether you like them or not, I'm not a fan of either. Whether they love me or hate me, that's fine, as long as they have feelings about me. He's very good at that. So the lens I wanted to discuss today is, what if this is really about standing up for what's right? That it's not just being a troll or a beef, and I could be totally wrong, but that 50 has a personal responsibility as a man to go, we have to get this guy out of here. Like, this guy has to be exposed. Like, this is bad, bad stuff. And also you gotta wonder, what stuff didn't make the documentary? Is Diddy another Epstein and he's gonna end up having an accident in prison in the next 6 months? I don't know. It seemed that way, maybe not. At this point, maybe not. As men, sometimes we just know something is innately wrong and we don't want to stand up for it. We don't want to be the one saying something. We don't want to disrupt the peer group. We don't want to be cast out, judged, but we know we're supposed to do something. When we don't do something, we end up being part of the problem. Because in a way, we're actually supporting it indirectly, going like, this is okay. Yeah, someone should do something. Someone should stand up. Someone should do the right thing. You know, it could be tribal from hundreds. Yeah, someone should beat him up. Someone should run him out of the tribe. But yeah, it's uncomfortable. And this is what I love about 50. And like I said, maybe it's my own lens, that he feels a responsibility as a healthier man to expose this bullshit that Diddy's doing. And if we can look through that lens of compassion to go, bro, Diddy's got some, like, he's fucked up. Like, he's got some severe trauma. Imagine being 4 years old and have your mom beating you so hard that the neighbors are hearing you scream, and then I think it was afraid to call the police because your dad's a gangster. So it's easy to make Diddy to be the bad guy. Does he deserve what he's gonna get or what he's got? For sure. But to understand his pain, and yeah, it can be like wires crossed. Like people that have read these stories about sexual abusers and they had something done to them as a child, and it's made them, or they've made them this sex addict and having this compulsion. And it's easy to judge that. I've had multiple sexual abuse when I was a kid. It made me hypersexual in ways, didn't make me do anything weird to anyone else. But that we can have these wires crossed inside of us where, yeah, things are just off, things are weird, or we confuse what attachment is, what love is, what connection is. As a man, is there someone or something you need to make right? And maybe it's not standing up against a Hollywood bully. It's not mine, probably not yours. But it's something you need to do that's right in your heart, a conversation you need to have, something you need to say yes to, something you need to say no to. I knew there was a conversation I needed to have yesterday. I had that. It cleared things up on both our ends, and it was just hanging out for the last couple weeks, and I was avoiding it. I knew I needed to just clear some old stuff out of my phone. That these things, that if we're not addressing them, they're leaking energy. They're draining us. Just slowly sucking energy out of us. And I'm gonna go through, watch the rest of this docuseries, because I want to report back on it and share my perspective and share what I think is really going on. And that Diddy is a dude with a lot of trauma and a lot of sexual abuse, or I suspect sexual abuse, physical abuse. And that 50 might be a troll, businessman, but he is a guy, even though he's not going to portray himself that way. He's a guy who's doing the right thing that everyone else in Hollywood was afraid to do. So what's yours? Happy New Year. It's the, 30th today? Off to Miami in a couple hours. Back to Medellin in a few days. See you soon.